Hello. In this video I'll show you how connected cluster works and how you can demolish them and what are the benefits of using connected cluster. So first, the difference between connected and nested cluster is that, as you can see, nested cluster has these empty objects which are works kind of a parent for other nests or for other game object with meshes. So when nested cluster initialized, it create colliders for every fragment under this connected cluster root. And the difference between connected cluster is that connected cluster has to have all the fragments as its direct children without any empty game objects, any roots, just one plain row of well, children with mesh filter and mesh render. So, and if you are not going to demolish your connected cluster, it will simulate just like nested cluster. It will create a bunch of colliders for this one root with RayFire JIT component. But in this case, I will demolish them. And first, I want to show you that there's a special connectivity type for connected only for connected clusters. And there are two types, by bounding box and by mesh. So this one column, I'm going to drop both of them. But this time, this one I will initialize with connectivity type by bounding box. This one will be initialized with by mesh connectivity type. So first one is designed for runtime initialization. In this case, it will establish connections between fragments using their bounding boxes, which is much faster. And if you will say it here by mesh, then it will actually check every triangle of every fragment and check which fragment is neighbor for another one. And in this case, it will work much slower, but the connection will be established with much more quality. So now let me start play mode, so you'll see the difference. So this one I will initialize is by bounding box. Also, there's as you can see, there's a contact radius. It measures in percent relative to size of bounding box of object of whole cluster. So in this case, it means 25% from the bounding box. So let me initialize, and it defines, this amount defines, this value defines the area of kind of damage which it will get. So all the fragments inside this damage area will be extracted from the cluster and start simulate separately. Now let's take a look. So you can see it works in runtime. It was almost instantly was initialized and start to fall down, and then was demolished to pieces. Now you can see that there's this one cluster. There's the rest of the fragments simulate separately because they collided. And I can drop this one more time, and now you can see another pieces of fragments were detached from this cluster. And in this case, it will be simulated just in the same way. Difference that when I will initialize, it will take some time because it needs more time for this by mesh connectivity type initialization. So this is how connected cluster demolishes at contact. Another way to demolish connected cluster is actually by hitting it with something else. But again, depends on your collision radius. Value, it depends how many fragments will be extracted. So I can increase maybe to 45%, so more fragments will be extracted, and I will initialize rock. Now I can see it's about now even more than the half of the fragments were released. Some of them still stay together. I guess this this connected cluster was demolished 2 times. To prevent this, let's increase my time. Okay, you see now it was demolished at the bottom. There was a bottom cluster, but it also was demolished because fragments which fall down also demolished it. So, and here's another example which shows you the benefits of using connected cluster. In this case, I have this bunch of groups here. as a connected cluster, but I want to break it in several steps. So first I will throw this rock. So it will take some piece here. So you can see now this part is a connected cluster. This fragment is separated, but they cannot fall because they the friction doesn't let them. And there's another rock which I am going to throw at this right side of this cluster. So now you can see this area also was demolished here, and only just a few fragments here still connect all the fragments together. So I have here another rock which I'm going to throw here to demolish this connection. Now you can see that when it broke this connection between all the fragments, they were separated in two different clusters here, this one and this one, and now they simulate separately. And again, every of this cluster also can be demolished even further using this contact radius value, and this is why it measures in percents. So you will be able to define one value for all clusters with all sizes, so it won't be fixed for every smaller cluster. So we can move it here. Now you can see it was demolished again, and so on. We can demolish it further. Now more clusters were released, and so on. So you got the idea. There is also a couple of other ways to demolish cluster, and I will use another scene for that because it duplicates, and I don't want to duplicate examples. So there will be special damage tutorial about how you can apply damage for objects with meshes object on clusters, but that these two references also works for connected cluster, just to show you how we can demolish them using gun component or script manually using method. So in first example, I have a gun. I have a connected cluster here, and I have a gun component which has a bunch of properties. Also, there will be special tutorial about all the properties. Just for now, I just want to show you how it works. So I have here radius of impact, strength of impact. Also has a damage here. How much will be damage at first shot. Also, I has here my damage is enabled. Maximum damage is 40. So as you can see, the first shot should demolish this connected cluster. You don't need to shoot it a lot of times, just one shot will be enough. And that will be, this red circle will be, the red sphere will be the area of damage. So I can make a single shot. Now I can see it was demolished into two pieces. And I can demolish it, let's say here, again, and release more fragments. So in this way you can shoot your connected cluster and release fragment one by one or by some area. So this is how you can demolish your object using gun. And gun basically just a script which you can attach to any game object and define its shooting axis. And the last way to apply damage to your object is using method. So I have their special script, kind of tutorial script, which shows you how you can apply your damage. So I have here the public fields for rigid which I want to demolish, damage value which I want to apply, and damage point in world position where I want to apply the damage, and the damage radius. And then when I will place space key, it will apply damage using this method, apply damage for rigid which I want to demolish, and then I need to define value, position, and radius. So this is how it works. I define column which I want to demolish. Then I set here damage value which I want to apply, and damage point. I use this game object. So will be the position where it will be applied, and it will be applied in a radius of 1 unit. So let's start play mode. And now you can see that my damage is enabled here, and my maximum damage is 40, which means when I will apply damage first time, it will not be enough to demolish this connected cluster. So let me hit space. Now you can see that its current damage is 25. So, and cluster wasn't damaged anyhow, but when I will hit space one more time, it will be higher than 40, so it will be demolished at this position. I need to go to the game mode. Now you can see that it was demolished right at the center and crumbled down. So in this way you can demolish your connected cluster by gun or manually using apply damage method. So I guess that's it with connected cluster. Thank you for watching.